Congratulations on the birth of your baby. What a treasure you will be taking home. We made this video to answer some questions you may have on two really important topics. Thank you for taking a few minutes to listen.
He might be a little cranky when he wakes up, but he is full of life. We are so blessed.
What are you doing?
Is this the life that we planned? Absolutely not.
Patty cake, patty.
He's exceeded every expectation he was ever given.
Colton is a bright-eyed 3-year-old boy, playful, inquisitive, and happy. But his journey to get here has been rocky. Liz Renner is his mom.
We were told he wouldn't walk, talk. He would have no quality of life, essentially. I'm sorry.
Doctors Kelly Dock and Erin Frazier are experts in pediatric abusive head trauma.
Shaken baby syndrome doesn't really describe everything that happens in this type of child abuse, but pediatric abusive head trauma is a more all-encompassing term.
When a caregiver becomes frustrated and shakes a baby, and because babies' heads are so much bigger than the rest of their body and their neck muscles are quite weak, you can imagine that even a very small force can cause a lot of injury.
When Colton was 2 months old, Liz returned to work and Colton started spending his days with a trusted caregiver outside the family. Almost immediately, Liz and her husband Jeff began noticing slight changes in his behavior.
He wouldn't even raise his head, and I also noticed his head size was getting larger.
She continually questioned other moms and Colton's caregiver and began to believe she was overreacting, until one Friday evening.
Jeff and I both got home late that day, and when we got home, I noticed that Colton seemed sick, real fussy, and I don't really want to use the word lethargic because he was responsive, but tired. He was, just real sleepy and fussy when you could bring him to, and he did feel warm.
Liz and Jeff immediately sought medical attention.
This little resident came in, Dr. Patel. I'll never forget her. We still keep in contact with her. She came in with this really awful face and said, we found blood on his brain. We are admitting you to ICU. You need to be prepared that he's going to go on life support. We get up to ICU and the intensive care doctor was like, who hurt your baby? Like, what do you mean, who hurt your baby? Nobody's hurt our child. He's sick.
Colton spent several days in the ICU. It was during those days investigators determined his caregiver had physically abused him multiple times.
But Colton wasn't done fighting. It just seemed like he was never ready to let go. He kept staying strong, and he kept little by little waking up.
It's easy to say I would never do that or that would never happen to me until you're actually in a situation where you're taking care of a baby, you're tired, you're frustrated, and you can't figure out why maybe the baby is crying. Anyone can lose their temper with a crying infant.
All caregivers are at risk. It's not one particular ethnicity, it's not one particular age group. Anyone who cares for a child can potentially become frustrated, and that frustration can lead to pediatric abusive head trauma.
Colton is developmentally delayed, but he's making progress every day.
I feel like life for Colton, he's going to be very dependent on us. I don't think that changes the fact that he's a super happy kiddo, and he's going to live his life as best as he can. I just want people to know that it's, one, okay to be honest. I want people to know that abusive head trauma only takes a second. I want people to know that it can happen to anybody and everybody.
Here are some things to think about before letting someone care for your child. Have honest conversations with potential caregivers and discuss how they respond in different stressful situations. Observe them with your children and their own if they are parents before leaving your children with them. Obtain references and background checks. When caring for infants, it's important to remain calm. Never take your frustrations out on your baby. Sometimes parents need timeouts too. When you get impatient, try these tips to help you calm down. Take slow, deep breaths and count to 20. Lay the baby on his or her back in the crib. Go to another room to calm yourself. It is okay if your baby cries while you calm down. Do something for yourself. For example, play your favorite music, exercise, or take a shower. If these tips don't work, call a friend, a family member, your doctor, or 1-800-CHILDREN for support. If you think your child is at risk, do not leave your child with that caregiver. Do not confront the caregiver. Get immediate medical attention for your baby.
It is okay to ask for help. It is okay to say, I need a break. Nobody thinks anybody's bad for asking for a break and being open and honest, because I just wish somebody had been open and honest with me.
If you become frustrated and angry because of the baby crying, place the baby in a safe place. Be sure it is a safe sleep environment until you can calm down or call someone to come help you with the baby. A baby's sleep environment is very important. Every 4 days, a baby in Kentucky dies in their sleep. Prevent Child Abuse Kentucky is working tirelessly to reduce that number to 0 through safe sleep education.
I think a lot of people would be surprised at that, but that is the statistic that we have. Every 4 days, a baby in Kentucky dies in their sleep.
There's a term that many people have heard over the last number of years called SIDS, or Sudden Infant Death Syndrome. And we're kind of going away from that term a little bit because a SIDS death is really a term that we use when there's been a complete investigation into why an infant or young child passed away, and we're trying to figure out, and there's no real cause. We need to follow the ABCDs of sleep. A means alone. So in a child's crib, there should not be any blankets, pillows, stuffed animals, bumpers. The baby needs to be A, alone. The baby needs to be alone because of the risk of suffocation or getting strangled, which means kind of being tied up within something. Stuffed animals, pillows, blankets, those are really there to help us. They do nothing for the baby. It makes us feel like the baby will sleep better with these things, but they're actually dangerous for the baby. Unfortunately, we see babies being put to sleep on couches, recliners, or in the bed with the parent. None of these surfaces were made for infant sleep.
The B has to do with baby positioning. So we want babies to sleep on their back, never on their belly. They should always start on their back. The C stands for clean, clear crib. So baby mattresses, infant mattresses are different than the soft mattresses that we sleep on. Because babies can become suffocated if their faces go in the neck muscles and the coordination to be able to move away from that situation. The D stands for danger and refers to the situation where a caregiver is perhaps under the influence of drugs or alcohol. And so their judgment is impaired in terms of leading to an unsafe situation for that infant. So they may bring an infant into their own bed and then accidentally roll over on top of them. And you'll hear parents say all the time, oh, I would never do that. That would never happen to me. But the statistics would tell us otherwise.
Thank you for letting us share these important messages with you. Your baby is our future, And there are a lot of people and agencies who are here to help ensure you and your baby have everything you need. It's also important to make sure anyone other than you who cares for your child also understands the dangers and triggers of pediatric abusive head trauma and the importance of safe sleep practices. To learn more about PAHT and safe sleep, call 1-800-CHILDREN or log on to pcaky.org. To report child abuse, call 1-877-KY-SAFE-1.